to Cooking Times 2. And Hi everybody, welcome to Cooking Times 2. And I'm Stephanie.
I'm Stacy.
And we're here to do a cooking show today and kind of teach you a good old Midwest special. Stacy, tell us about what we're going to do today.
I'm going to make a Midwest special called Made Right Burgers. It's a loose meat sandwich. They eat them a lot around here in Missouri and Kansas City area. They originated in Iowa, so it truly is a Midwest thing from 1920-something.
Okay, well, what to do?
All right, first thing is number one, this is actually a crock-pot recipe. So when I'm done cooking it in this cast iron thing, if you want to, you can dump it in a crock. If you do it, it takes 4 hours on low. But I don't do it in the crock most of the time because I'm not working right now. Now, when I was working, I did. And I go ahead and I put this on probably about a 6, which is a medium high. And I use this cast iron enamel skillet for everything. I love it.
Dutch oven.
Dutch oven actually is what it is. I have a skillet too. This thing weighs a lot and it gives you a really good workout because this is probably 5 pounds.
While you're waiting for that to get a little bit hot, you can just go ahead and, do a few curls there.
Do a few curls and go in there on the old bicep. My uncle got me this really cool chopper. It's got a bunch of attachments. I used the medium-sized one, and I just dump it in there. And a skillet should sizzle, which it did, so that's good. Basically, you're just wanting to cook these things till they're a little bit tender. And while that's cooking, I'm going to run over here and grab my burger, so I'll be right back. And I bought ground chuck. I usually actually buy a little bit better than ground chuck, but I decided to just use this today.
I think sometimes, Stacy, for these kinds of meals, the fattier meat might be better.
Definitely,
anyway.
If it was going to be in the crock pot, use the fattier meat.
Yeah.
But if you're trying to watch your weight or whatever, you can even use turkey. I use ground turkey with this all the time. The only thing I would recommend is, turkey's kind of blah, and so add a little bit more of everything.
A little bit more seasoning.
A little bit more of all the seasoning. It calls for 3 pounds of burger.
Okay.
And it feeds, I don't know, probably 4 people could get a couple sandwiches a piece out of this recipe. So it's pretty good for a dinner, supper, could even be a Saturday lunch, whatever. This was about 3.5 pounds, so I'm going to just put this back in the fridge real quick because I don't need all of that. Thank you. My assistant's stirring for me. You kind of this thing gets hot real quick, so once it starts getting hot, go ahead and turn it down. Normally, I would let those onions cook a little bit longer to soften by themselves, but because we're actually filming, I'm not going to. I'm going to get right to the recipe. I'm going to wash my hands real quick because I'm a big person on on preventing cross-contamination. I always have been. Anyway, next thing you're going to do is you add a little bit of garlic powder. I use garlic powder because, and it's whatever you like, because fresh garlic actually upsets my stomach, so I switched. I don't use it anymore. And the recipe calls, actually the original Iowa recipe calls for minced onion, which is weird. I use fresh onion, but you can use minced if you want. A very strange ingredient is 1 teaspoon of chicken bouillon. 1 teaspoon of beef bouillon.
Yeah, I wonder why they have the chicken in there.
I don't know, but this
gives it a little extra flavor.
It's basically what they call a copycat recipe because you can't really get a hold of the real recipe.
Oh, I see.
It's not out there. So.
All right, so what else are we going to be adding to this?
Since we're in more of a hurry, we're going to add, I combine this. You add 1 tablespoon of Worcestershire sauce. I used to call it just Worcestershire sauce, but it's Worcestershire. It's terrible to say. And 1 tablespoon of soy sauce, and just pour it in there. And that's what this is. It was both of them combined. You add a tablespoon of apple cider vinegar, which I had more than I needed, so I didn't use all of that. And a strange ingredient.
Well, something you wouldn't expect.
Brown sugar.
Yeah.
Yep. Something you wouldn't expect to be in there. And it calls for 2 tablespoons of that.
Okay, now let's get that browned up and see what it looks like here.
Okay, I might just turn that heat up a little bit. I don't know if you guys use, and a little bit of water, guys. You're just supposed to drizzle it with water. And that's really because you're supposed to let it simmer quite a long time, even if it's just, you know, not in the crock pot. It still needs to simmer. We usually eat supper at 5:30. I usually start this at 3, and then I let it simmer in this probably till 5. And then I put it back on this warming center back here on medium. And it stays really hot, and it actually keeps simmering because this thing is great.
Well, anything that you cook in those ceramic, cast iron, Dutch ovens stays hot a really long time. I have noticed that.
Okay, while this is cooking and simmering, let's move over to what we're going to serve on the side. I'm going to put this down just a little bit.
Okay.
And I'll kind of monitor it while you start on your side.
Okay, tell us about your side dish.
Okay, well, I decided I thought maybe apple coleslaw would be good.
Oh, yeah.
With these Made-Right sandwiches. The Made-Rights have a little bit of sweetness to them and a little bit of tartness because they've got the vinegar in them. And so does the apple coleslaw that I'm going to make today.
All right.
So I think they'll go well together. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to mix up our dressing.
Okay.
Our dressing calls for 1/2 cup of mayo. And here's our little spatula. We're going to scoop that in there. Now, the mayo that I'm using today is a healthier version of mayo. Okay, it's made with avocado. And I'm not going to say the brand, but anyway, it's a good alternative to the regular mayonnaise. Okay, and then I've got 1/2 cup of sour cream. Now, I have a little bit of a story to tell you about this sour cream. I do only use Daisy brand sour cream, and it's this brand here. I usually buy the light. No matter what I use sour cream for, this is what I use because Daisy sour cream has no nitrates in it. So if you're sensitive to nitrates, you need to not eat any other sour cream product and just go for Daisy. And the other thing is they have the light, which makes it even less calories. Okay, but then the other thing is, when Stacy and I were kids, we were really allergic to nitrates. We did not know that. And every time we ate anything with sour cream in it, or hot dogs, which are really high in nitrates, we would get huge headaches. And we did not know why we had these headaches. And then when you combine that with our hay and straw allergy, it was really hard to go to a hayride and enjoy ourselves.
It sure was.
Because we were allergic to the hay and the straw, so if we got on the wagon, we were itching and breaking out in hives. And then if we ate the hot dogs like everybody else was doing,
we had headaches.
And then we wanted to go home early.
Yeah.
So some of you guys that know
we were always stuck stirring the chili and...
we would stay behind and help stir the chili.
And watch the fire.
Get everything organized and watch the fire and get the marshmallows and the stuff out for the s'mores. So we had a very strange time trying to figure out how to enjoy hay rides. So some of you guys that know us from the old days probably will remember we didn't really actually go on the hay rides. We were there, but weren't usually on the hay ride. So anyway, I'm going to mix these two creamy things together. Then I'm going to add 1/2 teaspoon or 1 teaspoon of sugar. Well, I'm using today coconut palm sugar, not because I'm a health food freak, but because this is lower in glycemic index than regular sugar.
It would be similar to using agave.
Yeah, and it is all completely natural, so that is why I'm doing it. So I have this handy dandy, actually it's a Kitchen Art measuring spoon that can go, from 1/2 teaspoon to a tablespoon. And so I am going to measure out 1 teaspoon, put it in there, okay? And then I'm going to measure out a teaspoon of apple cider vinegar, which this is a little darker, you can tell, than some. It is the kind that has the mother in it.
Oh yeah, the mother load.
If you ever hear about the mother, buying apple cider vinegar with the mother, that just means that the original bacteria that are healthy inside of the vinegar have not been eliminated and killed in the process that they do, to pasteurize.
And it should look a little cloudy.
And it should look a little cloudy, and it is a little cloudy. So there's our apple cider vinegar, and the last little ingredient I need to add to the dressing is lime juice. Okay, we need a tablespoon of lime juice. Now, if you buy limes in the store or lemons, and they're really hard, most of you guys that have been cooking a long time know to do this already, but you give it a nice roll on the counter to get a little bit softened up so you can get some of that juice out. Then you take your knife, you go ahead and cut it down the middle.
and take your handy dandy juicer.
I love that. If you don't know where to find one of those, they're 25 cents at any thrift store.
Oh, yeah, they're
That's
cheap.
where we've bought all of
They're
ours.
cheap.
We go to thrift stores and we buy all these Pampered Chef items for 50 cents a piece. And everything
so now
else
I
is
have
nice.
already probably put a tablespoon or maybe even a little more in there. So we're going to be done with that.
Okay.
And now we're going to add just a little bit of Himalayan salt. And we're going to give this a quick stir. Try to stir that up and get it all blended together. And then, I'm going to go ahead and use my little whisk.
Which is right there.
Which is right here. Get this all whisked together. Then we're going to add, get our cabbage out.
And we actually take a shortcut on cabbage. We actually buy a brand that's already cut up.
Yeah.
And it's usually Dole.
That's all mixed together. And now what I want to do is go ahead, I need to chop my apples.
Okay.
It calls for 2 apples. It calls for Jonathan, or a green Granny Smith type apple, and then a sweeter apple. Okay, and normally I would peel these, but I'm not going to because coleslaw is a little boring. Okay, coleslaw can look.
You mean
really
looking?
boring.
Yeah, it looks boring.
There's no color really in it. So, like in the mix that I'm going to use, there's a few.
Okay, tell them where you got your little bag that you're putting your stuff in today. This little bag.
Well, this little bag, our sister Shannon made, and she makes these little bags. And you can put all kinds of stuff in these. You can put, you can use it in the bathroom and put soaps. You can put
toilet paper rolls, Kleenexes, whatever.
Kleenexes,
but we use them for kitchen.
Towels, whatever. I'm using it right now, mainly because I've got lots of little things I need to bring over to Stacy's today. And so I wanted to go ahead and get them all organized. I'm going to chop up my apple here. And I'm probably not going to use the whole apple on either one of these apples. Because we're just using like, a pound of slaw. And that might be a lot of apple. The recipe that I have actually is for a large serving. And I'm trying to downsize it for us today. Because we only really need to feed 4 of us today. So that's why
I'm moving around a lot, guys, because I'm actually watching my meat over here.
I'm just go over there and see what it looks like.
Okay.
For a little bit.
All right.
So.
Well, it's simmering really good. I'm going to give it a quick stir. Hate to dessert you, but...
It's all right. We're going to go ahead and put our extra apple pieces over here. And I'll probably eat those later. But I want to get this other apple chopped up a little bit. And then we're going to move on, okay?
All right. I'm back.
I dropped this one on the floor, so it's got a little bruise on it. It's not a perfect looking apple, but it's the only green one that I have because I don't use green apples unless I'm using them for a recipe because, nobody likes to eat them. So that's kind of the way that is. But anyway, we're going to go ahead and get this done, and I'm not real good at chopping apples. They get slippery, and I'm just not real good at it. So here we go with our apples. Okay, so that's all the cutting we're going to do. So now I'm going to set that aside, bring my slaw over. I just bought these bags of Dole slaw. You can literally chop slaw forever, and
it's easier to mix up if you only put in one bag at a time, by the way.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's what I've found.
All right, so let's go ahead. And you know what? We might have actually enough, a perfect amount of dressing just for this amount, and maybe not even use that.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
So, yeah, let's go ahead and put our dressing in here. And then we'll give our apples a toss in there. And it's nice that we can just set that on the counter back there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And go ahead, and once you swing around, you can come here and just kind of get up close and help me figure out if we're going to need a little bit. I think once we get it mixed up, this will be perfect. Okay, we might need a little more, but a little more mayonnaise, but I don't know.
Just keep stirring and
don't add anything too soon because there's nothing worse than having really sloppy, juicy slaw.
Yeah, that's the worst.
I don't like it when it just runs all over your plate. Okay.
I think if you just keep stirring and maybe keep flipping that in there, I think it's going to moisten up real good. If not, maybe another tablespoon, but I don't know. It's looking all right. But.
We'll do one quick
Here, I'll get you a spoon.
Okay, thank you. All right, while she's doing that, I'll do an extra little
Here.
thing of salt. And there we go. All right. And paprika is a good little thing to add some color to your slaw. So when we get this done here, like if we were going to serve this in a bowl actually we need to probably grab a bowl and go ahead and put it in the bowl for, like if we were going to serve it.
Yeah, instead of mixing it just in that. Yeah.
I never serve anything that I mix something in that same bowl. And I know this is just a smaller mixing bowl, but we're gonna go ahead and pile it all in here nicely and neatly. And then I'm gonna put a little paprika on the top and see what you think.
Then we're gonna put it in the fridge for about an hour before we actually would eat it, but we're actually not today. Because we're gonna, oh, it looks nice.
Okay,
and it
so
does
I'm gonna
taste
put
good
that,
already,
I'm gonna cover that up, put it in the refrigerator, and then we will come back and plate this up when the entree is finished.
So we'll pause it? All right. Look at it. Looks pretty good. I think it's ready. You'll know it's simmered long enough when there's not a whole lot of juice left in it.
Okay, so now we're gonna plate it up and take a taste.
I haven't found an easy way to plate this yet because this meat is loose, just like it is called loose meat. At this point, I usually set it down on the plate. Then I actually bring the plate over and I pile some more on it. If you're like me, you're a meat eater and you like it. Okay, traditionally it's served with yellow mustard and dill pickles. So that's what I'm gonna do. But I usually use the spicy brown mustard.
All right, so what kind of mustard did you put on that?
Okay, I just put regular yellow, but I usually use the spicy brown.
Okay.
And I usually use quite a bit of it, but I'm going to do it moderate like most people would do it. You can also, it's good with ketchup, it's good with barbecue sauce, but the actual true recipe from Iowa is this. 3 dill pickles, yellow mustard, the loose meat sandwich. That's it right there. That's the Midwest Iowa loose meat. This is our slaw. This has been chilling for an hour. So you can see it looks a lot more juicy, Steph.
Yeah, you don't want to overjuice and panic and think it's going to be dry because...
There's some of the slaws that have milk in the recipe, and I avoid those like the plague. I do not like
Let me get you a rag.
milk in the recipe.
You can wipe that edge off. Yeah. Okay, now, Stacy, I want you to turn around, close your eyes for a minute. I have one more thing I want to add. Oh. That plate lacks in color, so there's a little bit of something that I brought today. What? To kind of spice things up. Oh boy. And I hope you like it. Go ahead.
Well, I like it hot, so.
All right. Go ahead and turn around and see what you...
Please, Lord, make this Cheeto a carrot. Yeah, that's for sure. Yeah. You know Cheetos, they go with everything.
Yeah.
They go with turkey and gravy. They go with fish sandwiches. Yeah, actually, it looks so much prettier without them, but you know, it does have color. It adds color. That was a good
it does. It adds color.
Let's cut this in half, and we're going to
try we're going to go ahead and taste it.
And I'm going to probably just try it since you're
you go ahead. You can taste it.
These are messy. They're like a sloppy joe, and the sloppy joes, of course, has sauce that holds it together. This does not. And the bun gets good and juicy on the bottom. In fact, I'm going to just do it in half since we're on TV because
quarters.
It's quarters. I mean,
yeah,
it's going to be a little messy. So.
All right, tell me what you think, and then I want you to taste the slaw.
Oh man, it is so hot.
Ooh.
These things cook hot.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm done with that for now. That's delicious.
Okay, good.
And I'm gonna try
see what the slaw tastes like with it.
This is good, but I'm making a mess here. This looks really ugly, I know, but you know. I hope you guys enjoy this meal.
Well, it's easy and it's quick.
Oh, that's good. You know,
good.
You know what you forgot?
What?
We usually put green onions in that.
Oh, I went ahead and put them in there a little bit ago. They're in there.
I see one.
Yeah, I went ahead and put them in there. I did forget to put them in there earlier, so.
Oh, that's delicious.
Okay.
Okay, but hold on.
Hey, that was a good old-fashioned meal plus Cheetos.
Yeah.
Times 2. You guys come back. We'll do something really good next week for you. I hope you enjoy it and try these recipes. They're easy.
Yeah.
And we might not have made them look easy, but they really are easy. Well, it's always more fun to have someone in the kitchen with you to cook, right?
We do. We like to cook together.
So, signing off for now. Cooking times 2.
Bye.
Bye.